A goddess, a nature spirit, a magical conjuration, an embodiment of the land. Until recent years, the story of Blodeuwedd was rarely known outside of Wales itself, and those familiar with her tale did not generally hold her in very high regard. No matter what she may have once been, Blodeuwedd's literary legacy is that of a magical woman conjured out of flowers for the sole purpose of becoming the wife of Llw, a prince who was prohibited from marrying a human woman. She eventually came to betray her husband, falling in love with a neighbouring lord and conspiring to kill Llw in order to be with her lover. In the end, she is punished by her creator by being turned into an owl, the most hated of birds, cursed to never again dwell in the light of day. Overwhelmingly, Blodeuwedd is perceived in a negative light. At best, her shortcomings can be blamed on her naivety. After all, what could be expected of this weak and simple creature created out of flowers, formed as a fully grown woman with no life experience, having had no mother to raise her or guide her on her role as a wife? At worst, however, she is the embodiment of the evils of women who give in to their wanton sexual desires, who plot against the men in their lives, and who defy the social contract by seeking to circumvent the roles and expectations placed upon them by the overculture. In medieval Wales, Blodeuwedd's story likely served as a cautionary tale intended to dissuade women, especially from trying to break free from the confines placed upon them by society. Her punishment demonstrates that nothing good can come from seeking to change the circumstances of one's life beyond what is considered proper. And what is proper for women is to be faithful to their husbands, to fulfill their wifely duties, and to never give in to the lustful failings of the flesh. To the modern reader, Blodeuwedd's story can be challenging in many respects, and the reactions to her are likewise quite varied. Some who read her tale with modern eyes see a woman who acted against her apparently loving husband with unwarranted cruelty. Adultery is one thing, but why didn't she just leave Llw instead of conspiring to kill him? Others see Blodeuwedd as an early paragon of feminism, a heroine who fought to escape the limitations of what she was expected to be and risked everything she had in order to live a life of her own choosing. Whether cast as a feckless knight, manipulative vixen, or driven freedom fighter, the maiden who begins her tale as a flower bride ends it in the form of an owl. Perhaps this was, as it appears on the surface, an act of punishment intended to dissuade others from making similar choices. Perhaps her owl form is an unconscious symbol of the vilification of women's power by the patriarchy, which, having tried and failed to control her, was forced instead to banish her into the darkness of the collective shadow. Perhaps her transformation was but a revelation of her truest form. Perhaps, through her choices, she obtained the wisdom of the owl and the freedom of her wings. Blodeuwedd's story is a complex weaving of several strands of tradition, obtaining as clear an understanding as possible of her many facets will allow us to develop the foundation necessary to come into deep relationship with her as a deity. To get a sense of who she may once have been, we must first examine the meaning of her tale from the perspective of those who passed the story on and eventually came to write it down. We can then use these insights to engage in a kind of mythic archaeology in order to identify the symbols and folkloric motifs which have become embedded in Blodeuwedd's tale over time. Once unearthed from the narrative, we can use these pieces of information to embark upon a journey that allows us to reclaim Blodeuwedd, not only as the goddess she may have once been, but as a deity who has risen once again into our collective consciousness for a reason. Part of this reason is that she holds lessons which can assist us as individuals to grow into our true and authentic selves, and because she is a powerful and necessary ally for the challenges that face our world in the here and now. Blodeuwedd is so much more than a unidimensional figure in a cautionary tale intended to keep women in their place. Reclaiming her as a fully realized deity with agency and power requires that we understand the medieval context of her tale, retrace the details of her obscure divinity, and restore her role as a seasonal sovereignty goddess. If you would like to learn far more about Blodeuwedd, then I recommend you start with our book, Blodeuwedd, Welsh Goddess of Seasonal Sovereignty by Jenna Tellandrew, who also provided the words for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for weekly content, and we'll see you next time.